Welcome everyone to the Small Business Revolution. I'm your host Kyle, and of course I'm with my co-host, my dad, Josh. How you doing today, Dad?
Good, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited about the topic we're talking about today.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually really pumped for today's episode because we're going to dive into a topic that's essential for modern business, building your business through social media.
Yeah, man. Social media is a powerful tool for growing your business, reaching new customers, and engaging with your community. So let's get right into it and explore how you can leverage social media to boost your business. So I think the best thing to start with is why social media is important. And I have a statistic here that I'd like to talk about before you dive into why you think social media is important. Um, Social media, there's 5 billion people on the planet that use social media, any form of social media content. There's 5 billion people, which makes up about like 62% of the world's population. That's a way bigger number than I even thought it was. So I know the people watching this aren't thinking it's that big of a number, but 5 billion people. That's more than any brain can really comprehend.
Yeah,
So that's a big thing I wanted to lead off with to start the podcast because I feel like people who aren't using social media to for their brand or for their business are really kneecapping themselves and cutting themselves off at the knee and aren't really seeing the full potential and full scope of what social media can do for your business.
absolutely. Absolutely. And Kyle's a trendsetter. So everyone needs to start calling it kneecapping.
Yeah,
I
man,
love that.
kneecapping.
It's really cool. That's
That's
better than
definitely a
cutting off
saying.
at the knees. That sounds weird. Anyways, let's get into it. Sorry. I'm getting off track.
Um,
Getting off
so,
track.
so yeah, why do you feel like social media is important to you and our business and just in general?
Well, I mean, really, it's where everyone lives and breathes and spends their time, right? Like even business people, they spend a lot of time on social medias like LinkedIn and X and medias that are designed more for business to business communications, or things like that, right? Like any platform you go on, there's business people on there heavily. There's regular people, consumers on there heavily in one way, shape, or form. There's B2B consumers on there that are consuming information on their own that will take in this information and we'll get into some of these details later, but it's all like there's tons of different platforms, but if you look at like the big, like the top, 5 7, whatever you want to call it, um there's most of them have a little bit different variant that you need to dive into to get in front of your audience correctly when they're using those types of social medias, right? We'll get into all that in a little bit. But in essence, I mean, 10 years ago when Facebook came out and a couple, businesses really started getting on Facebook, like 10, 12, 15 years ago, however long ago it really started taking off. I apologize, I don't have that exact number that year, but um, ultimately everyone said, they're like, no, 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 that's for kids. Then they're like, no, 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 that's not for businesses. Adults are on it, good for them. The number, they just kept bucking the numbers, shying away from the numbers, and the people didn't. Holy cow! Like the things that they took advantage of in the moment, and were willing to take a chance and take a risk. And most of it is you're taking a risk with your time. You're not even investing money, right? You can literally do all of this without investing money, until you get used to it. And then you can still doing the stuff for no money and you can start sprinkling some money in once you have a really good understanding of it. Because there's two different, very different sides that will get you the same end result, but it's not one or the other. They both work separately, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing. It's in essence, it's I saying it replaced like TV commercials is ridiculous, but it has shaped TV commercials, right? When you
100%.
look at things like YouTube TV, all this stuff, they're
Mhm.
using a lot of big companies now are starting to use analytics and data from their social media marketing and campaigns and the what's hot, and then they convert that into an ad that they run on specifically targeting those people that like that type of thing, uh, on YouTube TV and all these other little TV things that are popping up all over, and they can hyper specific market to a really tight niche, on TV. Whereas before it was like just shotgun, just throw it out there and see what happens.
Mhm.
Catch the right people at the right time of day. Um, it's just the way things are evolving. Everything is being connected to media because that's where people live, breathe, and spend their downtime and at work they're like need to decompress, and they'll spend a little on their socials, but they're still kind of in work mode. They're not in work mode, right? So a lot of things to consider. But the biggest thing is you just got to start. You just got to figure it out, dive in, learn it, understand it, whatever you got to do, and then just do it. Do it while you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way, right? You just pull the trigger. That's what we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. And yeah, and it's like you said, like just the reach that you get from social media. I mean, you compared it to TV commercials, like that was everything multiple years ago. And like you said, it's not to discount TV commercials. Obviously, those are still massive and huge. And I mean, the Super Bowl is the best. Getting a Super Bowl commercial is still the best bit of advertising that a company can get. Obviously, it's very, very expensive, but it's the best advertising a company can buy. You know what I mean?
It costs a lot of money, but it's not expensive, right? Like if you have the money to pay for it, it's the Super Bowl commercial is the most undervalued advertising medium today, and I will ride that to death until it changes.
Oh yeah,
for the last how many years? Like even today, it's like millions of dollars per spot. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of eyeballs that are on it make it very undervalued, and that's, I guess, the point with that we're trying to make today with social media is I started off with that 5 billion people, and 5 billion people have the potential of seeing your post. Will 5 billion people see it? No, 5 billion people will not see your post, but that's a 5 billion people sample size as opposed to you just opening your store in your town. You know what I mean? I mean, it just opens your eyes and opens everyone to your business. You get more eyes on you, the more the better, right?
100%.
So I guess that really brings us to our next point. You started talking about LinkedIn and X a little bit and Facebook, and I guess the next point would be how do you know you're choosing the right platform for your company? Like it's very important to choose the real platform and how you. I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. So there's a platform, and then like how do you market the best
the platform that's best for your niche and more specifically, then how do you make sure it's best for your particular company and the piece of the niche that you're in, right?
100%.
I got you. So that's a really tough question, right? But just like I was talking about the Super Bowl commercial, like that's not realistic for small business people like us. We'll never be able to run a Super Bowl commercial. Maybe someday, like that's the goal for every small business owner is to be able to to hit that level of success, right? But at the end of the day, it's baby. You got to baby pieces. You got to start somewhere. So the first step you need to do is really also you should be on all socials. Every single business owner should be on LinkedIn. They should be on X. They should be on Facebook and Instagram and all these different socials, right? But you have to pick and choose first. You got to start somewhere. I go look at X. I have the last time I posted on X was before it was X. Put it like that, right? So it just you have to manage your time accordingly, right? So for a business, don't let this be an overwhelming thing, right? So you say, okay, go online as a consumer, look at Facebook, Instagram, look at your industry and say, okay, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on all the big socials, right? And see go in as a customer of yours mentality wise, right? And say, okay, where are my communities? Where are my people? Where are the people that I want to do business? Like as a consumer trying to find yourself. If I find these people, what do the communities look like around this thing, around this widget, around this service, around this product, right?
Someone was detected at your back door.
All these types of things. So it really, once you figure that out, spend some time, spend hours. Really, it's an important enough thing to your business that you can spend an hour or two doing it. We all spend a couple of hours a week, right? On Saturday every week, I used to say, oh my goodness, I had 5 hours last week that I just completely wasted. Right? We've had that conversation. So it's a matter of just keeping yourself organized and say, okay, every day at 9 p.m. my wife goes to bed. So from 9 to 10, I'm going to spend that time on social media and seeing every day I'm going to spend an hour and see what social medias similar in businesses to mine are on, and they're where their communities are of my customers, and where do they interact, and how does is there groups, do they like businesses? There's a lot of different ways to look at it, and a lot of different tools to break it, right? You just have to start playing around with it, and then after a little bit, after 10, 20 minutes of working on it, use YouTube for research. Like, how do I do this? Just Google it. Hey, go on YouTube. Actually, no, forget that. AI. Go to ChatGPT. It's free. How do I do this thing? Right? Or you go on Google and make sure you have the integration turned on for them testing, and it'll give you a chat. It'll give you what's the Google AI? It'll give you on the top. It'll give you a Google answer and tell you how to do it right there at the very top. You don't even got to go to another page. It's dope, right? But all this stuff is there, and even if it's not it doesn't bring you to the right thing, it'll get you in the right area, and then you just play around. That's how we learn, right? So do that, dive in, figure out where. So like for example, our customer base lives on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of my clients literally have gone away from their website. They don't get rid of them. They still have them, but they don't really do much with them, right? A couple times a year they upload things. It's a payment portal for their parents, right? Things like that for their main service. But they live and breathe on those too. So that's where we started. Said, okay, how can I in front of my customer base, who I'm looking for as a client to come on board? How do I get in front of them? And this is a strictly B2B side of it. How do I get in front of them? Right? For us, we're B2B and B2C. So the first, if you're like us, the first thing is where's your meat come from? Where's the thing that keeps you afloat come from? Dive in there first, right? The thing that people are going to be excited about, or maybe you have a new widget or product that you're launching, right? Start there and start going after that specific, like a micro niche, and then you'll be able to expand from there very rapidly. You have to start, and to keep it not overwhelming. If you're like me and you're crazy and you're like, we're going to do this, and I'm like, cool, I do my regular everything I do during the day, and then 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I'm done with dinner. I'm like, babe, I'm going to work. And I go in my office and I don't come out until 5 a.m. And then I get back up at 8 and I dive back in, right? If you're like me, okay, cool. But I don't recommend that to anybody. I'm actually trying to not do that anymore. But the point is, you have to put in the time, whatever that looks like for you, right? Put in the time and give yourself a reasonable deadline, like this week, like Friday, right? I'm going to spend a couple hours this week, and by Friday, I'm going to make a decision, and I'm going to get into it and build a page. And on Saturday, I'm going to put my first post and do it. Right?
Yeah.
There's lots of tools, lots of things. We'll get into some of that later. If you need help right now, hit us up. Go to our website, through here, anything on any of our socials, hit us up. We'll be more than happy to help you in any way we possibly can, even if it's just understanding a couple things. We'll take time to help other business owners every day. No questions asked.
Yeah, just leave us a comment. You shoot us a private message. We'll definitely reach back out to you and help you. And I feel like that was a perfect segue to our next topic. But one more thing before we touch on that topic, one more thing I wanted to add in as well is we also did Facebook and Instagram, because that was also something that we're pretty comfortable with. So it's like obviously what you said, take into account, but also social media it's not hard to understand, but it's a lot. It is work, obviously. Everything in business is work. So if you already feel very comfortable using Instagram and Facebook, and you're like, and it works then that's a perfect blend of, you know what I mean? It's also the comfort level of I know how this works because I use it every day when I'm just chilling. I'm just scrolling on Instagram, seeing what people post, seeing about sports, seeing about whatever your interests are.
Yeah. So I have two quick things I want to. If kind of lazy, or you just like, I don't know, right? Take the social media that you spend most of your time on, or think like, which one do I think am I in business mode more on? Obviously, like LinkedIn and stuff like that. Or just take the one that you're the most comfortable with using, and start using that one first, right? And just do it, right? That's the most important thing. Like, don't hesitate, just do it. Don't get overwhelmed. Be like, dude, I'm not going to get any reactions for a long time. I'm not going to get anyone following me for a long time. I know this is not going to work for a while. It's going to take a while to catch up. I'm just going to get in and start doing it, because that is all true. It's going to take The non-paid ones take longer to build up. You got to build a base, and you can sprinkle in paid advertising. You want to build a community, but at the end of the day, like whatever messages you're putting out, just put a post out like, hey everyone, I'm starting to learn how to do this with social media. And if you're just completely lost, say, I'm completely lost, so I'm going to record this stuff. I'm going to put comments up about my process and learning about this. I'll put up stuff, positives and negatives, just so people who are interested in my process and how I've learned this stuff can just follow along. It's a good way to get you some extra followers, and because people are interested in that. And it's not necessarily to make money, but those people know your customers. They know your customer base. They know whoever you're trying to reach. They know those people. So if you want to get everyone on your corner that you can in any little way you can, right? You want visibility, dude. Don't filter it. Don't check things 100 times. Just put it out, right?
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
100%.
Just put it out and then tweak it from there.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, and that's
I know we're going into an.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, no, you're good. So yeah, I think that leads us into our next point pretty perfectly, and it's how do you create engaging content? And you've already touched on that a little bit. So if you just want to keep expanding on what you were just talking about, like it's how can I get in my business get people to engage with my customers or soon to be customers?
Okay. First I want to say this, right? This is my personal opinion based on a lot of time and experience and data that I've looked at, right? And everyone will tell you the same thing and they'll just word it differently, but most human beings have a span of a gnat when it comes to internet and videos and reading content, stuff like that, right? You have 3 seconds to capture their attention. If you don't, you're done. They're going to keep on going, right? So, like if you put out a 4-sentence thing, the first sentence should be something a little bit snappy, right? Like, oh. So like for example, we customers we deal with, they do bulk ordering of merchandise, right? It's a giant headache for them. One of our services is a solution for that, which our clients, right? But getting in front of them is tough because they're constantly getting badgered by people cold calling them, this and that, and every other thing. Every industry, that's the case, right? You got to get through the gatekeeper and all this stuff, right? How do you get through the gatekeeper? You circumvent them by using the internet and social media. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, you need to be yourself, right? What you put out there, when people reach out to you and communicate to you, you want them to know that it's coming from you, and you want them to know what they expect when they reach out to you. When people reach out to me, right, Kyle, when people reach out to me and to communicate with me, do you think they're expecting someone super low key like you? Like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Or you think they'll be like, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
That I'm like super high energy 24/7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and some people like to talk to Kyle and not me because that just not them, right? And that's fine. It's good either way, right? So,
yeah. I mean, everyone's different, right? Like everyone has different preferences, and it's just kind of how it is. That's why we balance each other out really well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But the reason that Kyle and I will both talk to different clients depending on who they are and what we feel their preferences are for communication, we make that decision on our own, right? Because the people that like talking to me, they like hearing my messages coming from me the way I say them, and the same for you, right? Yeah. So if the more authentic you could be, the better, because it's going to make it so the people that you really want to get in front of first are the people that are going to emotionally align with you as well, right? Because that's going to be a much higher conversion rate. So when I'm saying think about things on that kind of level, like, okay, like what are your favorite hobbies, right? Post about your hobbies. Right? Like say you love fly fishing or whatever, like post about that stuff. It's just going to generate traffic, right? Mm-hmm. Post about industry related things that have nothing to do with you. It's just helpful for the people that you want to reach. You want it to be helpful for them, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, this is all getting into like leveraging your audience, and I don't know when that topic is coming in, but probably next or soon, right? So we'll just talk about that next. But
Yeah.
it really like you need to figure out how to engage your audience the right way, right? And it starts with you. So you say, how I want to be engaged. What are the things that catch my attention, right? If I'm on social media and say you're on Facebook because you like Facebook and that's where your friends are, and you're on Facebook, you're like, if I see something that's from one of my friends or not from a friend that I just see and it's industry related, what about that catches my eye, right? So for us, the first thing is want to remove bulk orders from your life with a giant heart? Hit me up, right? It's not that hard. It can be as simple as that, right? But I'm like, want to remove bulk orders from your life, and then a couple sentence blurb, and that's it. The most important thing is to not go on and always be do business with me, call to action. It cannot be all call to action because you will go nowhere. You will not get followers. If you do, they will leave quickly, right?
Yeah, and that's
in it for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rule of Witham. And all of my salespeople out there, they all know it, right? They all know about it. It's what's in it for me. That's the customer's mentality. So what's in it for them? Dude, I like this guy. We have common interest, right? Automatically in their mind, they're automatically disarmed, right? Or I like this guy. He puts out content for me that there's no reason for him to put this content out other than to help me. That's awesome. People love that, right? It's put stuff out that is going to that's really going to grab their attention, relevant to them, and you put a mix of content out, and you'll start getting a feel for what people like and what they don't like. We were just talking about that today, right? You want to engage, right? So let's go and engage your audience, because you do all these things, and then you engage your audience that way. You get them to say, oh, and they give a like, or oh, they'll leave a quick comment, right? We get comments all the time. Love this, because Kyle puts out some really cool, really dope, interesting stuff. He puts out some really, really cool stuff on our business and for the industry and for just things coming up, calendar events for like business owners and for not, because we have B2B and B2C and they're kind of married all in because we do business with companies that are like little mini families, right? So we're doing it this way instead of keeping it completely segregated, which typically we would want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So our main corporation is completely separate, and that has all of its own stuff, right? Yep. So you just have to think about what to connect to where and when and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you get online, you engage. If you think about stuff like this the right way, people will start engaging with you. You need to always respond back, engage with them, right? Someone leaves a comment, you have to leave a comment, not thanks, not appreciate that, right? So you put a post up, someone leaves a comment, like, that's really interesting, right? And your response needs to be, I thought so too. What did you think about this point, or this particular thing on that? Or, hey, yeah, I thought it was really interesting. That's why I reposted it or I put it up for everyone. What'd you think about this? Or, thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, we just brought a new artist on board and he put a lot of energy into this and it's a completely different look. So thank you for the feedback. It means a lot to us. Do you have any suggestions, or is there anything you think we could do differently, make it pop a little bit better, right? Like things like that, just use them in any way you can. And when they comment back, you need to comment back. Not tomorrow, not 3 days from now. Like you need to comment back. When your phone pops up and says somebody just did a thing, you need to click on it and go respond, right? It's all because when they're doing that, that's like someone picking up the phone and calling you, but people don't do that anymore, right? It's the closest you're going to get to a text message without them having your phone number and wanting to reach out to you, right? So engaging with them is really important. Another thing that you have, a whole extra side of that is go out and on those posts, on those things, you see something that's interesting, whether you want to use the information or not, right? Comment on it, go down, read some of the comments, comment on those people, like things that are like, wow, that's cool. Like comment on that, comment on a bunch of them all the way down. And it could take, then you could end up spending 2 hours a day, but you could spend a lot more than that. I'll be honest with you, but you could spend an hour or two a day doing that. And I promise you, in the end, you will get results from it, right? I engage with people online on our socials. You see me, you're like, oh, hey, I'm like, hey, I'll send them a private message, right? Some of the businesses we work with are dance studios. So they're getting ready to do their big summer launch event, right? Their registration events and all that kind of stuff, right? And there was a studio that did theirs early, and I don't do business with them, but I follow them. They follow me. She comments on our posts sometimes, so I know she started her registration event. She did it early, and I know that's not typical. So I was like, "Hey, Kim," her name's not Kim, but I was like, "Hey, Kim, how's it going? I was just wanting to reach out and see how your registration event was going and see if everything was going smooth for you. Hope it is. Have an amazing day." That was right. She didn't respond, but I know she read it. So that's right. Like it it's you want to engage with people because then they'll engage with other people about you. They'll pass your information on to other people when they see value in what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
They see you engaging. You engaging.
And on top of
That's
that,
important.
it also really does help with a lot of algorithm stuff too. When you're commenting on other people's posts, it like if it's especially if it's industry related, and even if it's not, sometimes it really helps with the algorithm just to show whatever platform that you're on that yes, my account is active and engaging, and then it pushes it out to more people, and then
Right.
more people comment, and then it's just an endless cycle. And you just need that spark that really makes it explode, and then the algorithm's like, oh, and then it explodes, and then
Right.
everything is perfect.
It
You know what I
sees your
mean? Like
engagement. It sees your response times. It sees this. It sees this. One of the biggest overarching factors I think though that I should get into is start with a post. Start anything. It doesn't matter. Start with something and then just immediately start building on it. Do a couple posts a day. Hit a couple different things. Shoot for like 3 to 5 posts a day, right? But at the end of like across say 2 accounts, shoot for like 3 to 5 posts a day, and try to mix it up a little bit. The biggest thing that's gonna overall help the algorithm is doing a mix of medias, right? You want to put static posts out, just like type, put it out. You want to put if anything like pictures and stuff like that, put that out. Video content is really important. And some people don't like video. A lot of people like some people don't like. They don't want to be on camera. Once you get on, it's a lot. I promise you, it's not that bad. But some people are just like terrified of it, and I totally understand that, right? So there's a lot of other things you can do, but the more people see people like this, they respond better. That is a fact. That it responds better. They respond better to it. If you have a static thing or like another video that you could do, and then you like anything like green grass scenery with like some weird music playing super lightly in the background. It's a small 5-second video, and you just voice over it, right? That'll work. None of these things you should put any amount of time, like crazy amount of time or energy into it. Being real and seeing real raw stuff, people really like. They engage with that on a much higher level than they do with fancier, more scripted stuff. I mean, that's fine, right? But you put a lot of money into stuff and a lot of time and a lot of energy, you put out a lot less content. And even if it does get maybe a higher level engagement than this other one piece of content that you would put out, the thing is you could put 5 or 10 or 20 pieces of content out in the same amount of time it takes you to make one. And I promise you, compare those side by side, and there is no comparison, right?
Yeah, and if you really even look at the things that have blown up recently or relatively recently or even throughout all of social media, either one, they're funny, which people love the funny stuff, the memes, all that stuff, or two, it's really open and relatable. And it's hard to be very relatable if it's a big high budget project. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard to be relatable if they can tell this is a huge high budget thing. That's why a lot of things that blow up, either they're funny and the TikTok or the Instagram account, they blow up, or it's something you're like, oh man, I can really relate with this person in this situation that they're currently in, and then the TikTok or the Instagram posts or the page blows up, and then now they're influencers, just like that. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how it happens, right? It's crazy, absolutely crazy how it happens. You know,
no, 100%. And yeah, and is there anything last things you want to touch on there? Or are you ready to move on to our next little subtopic here?
There's always more things I want to touch on, but hey guys, also pay attention for like a lot of little video drops here and there. I'm like, there's things I'm like, tomorrow I'm like, oh, I should have talked about this thing. I got this thing, and I'll just like, no, into my camera and just drop it, right?
And on
Like,
top of that, plus we know we have very limited time here as well,
yeah,
and so
exactly.
there's things that we always want to expand on deeper, but we have certain topics that we have to hit
Yeah,
throughout, just so that way we hit everything. So it's more of a we have to shorten it up a smidge, not we can't
1000%.
deeply
I
talk
do
about
have
all
one
we
last thing I
want.
want to touch on. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
people that like to do things really professionally and have it really well done, have a production company do it, blah, 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 right? If you do this is going to save you money. And it's a way to trial stuff, come up with a campaign and do it all through with like real basic, nothing crazy, no big money into it, no big time into it, and just do it. Even create a separate account for it if you need to. But at the end of the day, use that data and the analytics from that. Then you go to the production company and say, I want to do this, like this and this and this, right? And now you're not taking guidance from them, and you're not guessing. You have data. You have proven data. Like this is a message that people that I'm going for like to see, right? So then you turn that into some big paid TV campaign or a radio campaign or some other thing that you're doing currently that you know is working. It's a way to expand on that, right? Or you take and do the same thing and turn it into paid marketing on socials as well, right? And really ramp it up. I'm still not a big proponent of making things all fancy and professional. If it's going to be on TV, that's a little bit different, right? You want to
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it from my office here, where I got to fix the
Yeah,
wall up
no,
there.
exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, it's just one of those things. Anyways, let's go into the next topic.
So
Leveraging analytics.
in that last little section, you really hit on both of our last two remaining topics, with leveraging analytics, and I know you're going to be excited about this one, paid advertising. Since we really touched on that a little bit last week, and I know that's something you were last week you were super excited to talk about. So I figured we'll save that one for last again, but yeah, leveraging analytics. I mean, that's super important when it comes to the world of social media. So how do you leverage analytics when you're looking at our social media?
Cool. Yeah, no, I do like paid advertising. I love talking about it because it's, well, first of all, on one aspect, like a lot of people, that's a huge waste of time. It's not, right? But aside from that, we're going to talk about leveraging analytics. You're going to have these analytics to, before you, like, that's what we're doing. That's what we did. We went in, we started doing all these posts. What do I do? What do we do, Kyle? We constantly break down our analytics. We're like doing which posts are the most popular. Is it video posts are the most popular? Awesome. Which ones are the most popular? Is it the ones where we put a little static stuff and we have some things going on, or we have some music in the background? Or is it the ones where it's like that and there's a little voiceover? Or is it the ones that it's one of us on screen talking about a thing? Or whatever, right? Like, and which one of us gets the most, even that, like which one of us gets the most attention, right?
Yeah.
Because they might like my verbal message more, even though they don't necessarily want to talk to me, they like my message more in the way I talk about it. I'm a little more emphatic about certain things than Kyle is, right? But that's just who I am. Like, I could talk like this about blinds. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
I love that that's what you did, because you looked up and that was the first thing you saw as your window with the blinds.
You caught me. I got busted. 100%. Okay, but yeah, so leveraging analytics, we dive in like this, right? And it's like which was better, right? And then we say, okay, the ones where it's some type of a visual one, it's me and you or just me or whatever, those ones seem to perform the best, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, is the ones where I just go in and talk, like these little blurby ones like I was talking about? Or is the clips that we put together from this, that we use from our podcast, that we use to market our podcast, not spending money, right? Through like SEO, things like that, and on all the social medias, right? Or is it, right? Or what is it? So, and then we just look at numbers, math, numbers and math do not lie. That's why I love analytics. People say, I'm like, okay, but numbers don't lie. Just because something blows up for me doesn't mean it's going to be a thing for you, right? Or I should say, or for your business. But there is, I promise you, everything we talk about, there is a variation that will work for your business. And if you think I'm crazy, please call me, right? Yeah. Call my business. My direct line is right on the website. It's on all of our socials, right? My son freaked out last time I said it on the podcast, but it's out there everywhere. I don't care, right? I'll talk to anybody about business any day of the week. which Kyle also does not like because it pulls me away from business sometimes. But it doesn't matter, dude. Like at the end of the day, like this is my lifeblood. This is who I am. I'm a business person, and I just want to share as much knowledge and information with people as I can, right? So find a way to like say, okay, all the analytics, all the data for every single social platform is right there. It gives you everything, and you don't have to pay for any of it, right? Take some time. Go on, and if you're like, I don't understand it, go on Google. How do I understand my business analytic or my analytics for Facebook for posts I've been putting out for my business page or whatever you want to say, and see what it says. And then go and watch a couple of videos on YouTube that are linked to that question, and then go and just start playing around, right? You'll like, oh, and then you'll get it. And one day, one second, you'll just get hit with like an epiphany. Be like, oh, I get it. Okay, cool. And then next time you get stuck, you do the same thing. That's it. You know, we had to do the same thing. The social media platforms they're constantly changing and updating. People now, when they talk about social media platforms, they're like, at the time of this recording, right? Like it's because things change that fast sometimes, right? But they always have it laid out so it's easy enough for you to find and understand. And if you still don't get it, because it's not quite as easy from them, some platforms are better than others, right? There's tons of information on the internet from people just like me and you they got hung up and they just want to try to, if one person can get help from it, they're happy, right? So there's tons of information out there. But all the data you get, we use it to decide what type of stuff we're going to put out next, right? We use it to decide how much of that stuff we're going to put out and where, because the analytics for every site are different. Every platform is different, right? Yeah. So we really break it down, like, and all this stuff sounds like it's overwhelming, but it's genuinely, it's not. Like, it's like a 20-minute conversation for me and Kyle, and then he does the work, and he has that, once you get used to it, it's fast and easy, right? Like, what do you spend an hour a week on static stuff, 2 hours a week on static stuff, and then maybe the same on video? And mind you, we're B2B, B2C, we have a podcast, we have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm talking about all of our social medias as a whole. Kyle handles all of it, and that's about how much, you know what I mean? Cutting up doing video, cutting it up and stuff a little bit. It doesn't take him that much time because we don't cut up stuff. I'm like, if I make a mistake, I don't care. I want people to see that because I'm a real person. I'm not trying to be someone fake, right? Like I tell everyone, I am unapologetically me, and that's how I live my life. You need to live your life the same way, right? I genuinely want every single person I interact with on a daily basis to love me and think I'm the best person they ever met and they want to be my best friend, right? The reality is that's not going to happen. And if some people don't even like me, they don't want to be around me, I don't care. I just say, okay, and move on to the next thing, right? Like a lot of it is being able to, like, you guys are all small business owners. You get it, putting out fires, you just got to brush stuff off, brush that off, right? If people are leaving negative comments if you put someone leaves a negative comment, say, I leave a positive comment in return. Don't block them. Don't do it. It's free traffic. They're helping your algorithm. Say, I appreciate, They say, if someone says, hey, let's talk about the power and for 5 seconds, right? Someone says, Josh, your prices are higher than some of your competitors. That's ridiculous. I go, you know what? You're absolutely right. They are. And we do this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and, right? And they go, oh, as opposed to saying, yeah, but, right? As soon as you say but, you're on defensive. You're defending yourself, and it just amplifies their feelings and that they're right? So,
yeah, 100%.
Anyway, sorry, but I know I just went to weird tangents, so I'm going to stop. Go back to paid advertising because I see our time is getting low. So anyways, at the end of the day, if you use these analytics, it's hard, raw data, right? Figure out how to understand them, use the internet, right? Ask us, ask anyone, dive into the analytics, use that data to decide where you want to spend money, right? And use the formatting from your most popular post to either design a new post, but I would say either play off of your most popular posts or one of them or a couple of them, or, use that actual post and just change the verbiage on it somehow on the bottom or something, the message that's going out with that post, and then put money behind it, right? That's what we do specifically we're going to put that out. The other thing to do is when you're posting things, make sure you're being real to yourself and to your business. Be authentic, right? People can tell. Make sure everything is on brand. For us, our brand is me, right? It's me and Kyle. It's who we are. It's how we do business. Because your brand, we talked about that before, it's so much more than colors and stuff. That's important, but it's your brand voice is the most important thing. And I'll be honest with you, like I had a hard time really like landing that, and we were playing around a lot of different things. So, but I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep driving and do the best I can, right? And we did. And then we got to a point where I'm like, okay, now it's time to call them professionals, and we did. And we found a place that I went in not looking at money necessarily. I did, but not that was. Then it was like, okay, these places that we can afford, I'm going to talk to each one of them and see who understands who we are the most, and then talk. And then they're helping us develop our brand voice based on me. I basically sent them a mini book on who I am, how we do business, every piece of data and everything that I've ever put out, and content and like solid information, my inner thoughts, all kinds of stuff I sent to them after a 2-hour conversation so they could understand who I am and what our brand is. And they're building our brand voice to kind of put it in black and white for us a little bit, just so we can make sure as we grow, our brand voice is being carried through, because I know it is through me. It might not come out in the most technical way, but I know my brand voice is me and it comes out the right way. And the same with Kyle. But as our team grows and as we have people come in these positions, that's going to be important. We're eking up on that time. So we're preparing ahead of time, right? In the meantime, we're just like grind it out, do it ourselves, figure it out. The most important thing is just do it. Just do it. Find something that's hot. Once you start doing paid advertising, then you could do like an A and B test. You could run a different version of the same ad. There's a lot of different things you can do. Use different keywords. If you have a hard time with that, go on Google AdWords things and right, look at that. Look up keywords and use some of those keywords. Or there's all kinds of AI tools for free that you can use to get keywords that'll help you, right? To get a starting point. And then you start, it's the same thing in all the socials, you use keywords and whatever, you pick age ranges. But as your ads run, right? So and I'm saying like $10 a day, $5 a day, right? And figure out which ones are working. And even down the line, you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the thing, like social advertising is designed for small businesses legitimately. Like they let you set all these keywords, set up this like massive campaign with all these intricate details and spend $5 a day and they could care less, right? And it gets the same traction as everyone else. How much activity you have in your algorithm ties into helping to make sure it's in front of the right people. There's a lot of little things like that come into play. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about everything. My opinion is dive in and do it. And you need to figure out what works best for you, because what works best for person A in industry A, right? And person B in industry A that work in the same position, that works at the same company as the first person, their approaches, if they take the exact same approach, they're going to get very different results, right? Because one person is not going to be being authentic.
100%.
So be authentic, grind hard, make content, put it out, and see what happens. Hit us up. Let us know. Let us know your experiences. Leave comments and stuff. We love to chat with people. Let us know what you got.
Yeah, 100%. And I realized that I did not have this written down, but there's a lot of good tools that we use that maybe we could touch on just a smidge. That way we can
100%.
give someone like a really good starting point. I don't know why I could have swore I did that, but it's all right.
Well, how about this? We don't get sponsors from anybody, so everyone knows, right? Maybe Monster someday. But outside of that, I just want everyone to know. So that's
a good point.
Talk about this. Take a couple minutes and talk about some of the tools that you used from the beginning that helped you in the beginning, and then what they evolved into, and some of the tools you use now, right? And then when you post all this, we'll put like some links in for people. We're not saying these tools are the tools you should even use. We're just saying these are the ones that we use that were helpful to us and why. And I think it's going to be very helpful for new business, especially small businesses who really aren't into this too much, to understand, because you didn't understand any of this when I brought you on board. Not the business side. Like obviously social, you're like teenagers, you're 22 going on 23, you understand social media. But the business side of it, you were like,
Yeah, no, literally.
right? So,
Yeah.
and I'm like, figure it out. I wanted you to learn it on your own, so you would be taking your personal perspective,
Mhm.
right? That's really important. So why don't we take to talk about that stuff? I'll just be quiet. For a
Yeah, I
couple
won't keep
minutes.
it. Yeah, I won't keep it too long. I know we're running really short on time and stuff.
This is
So
important. Take as
one
much
of
time as you want. It's really important. And then break the section out into another clip and put that out for everybody too. And just like the tools that we
Mhm.
use, you see, and make sure this conversation is in this podcast. You see what I mean? Important. We're always thinking about the next thing to do. How this is going to
yeah.
be helpful for people. This piece, I think, is going to be
Mhm.
helpful for a lot of
100%.
people, even if they don't watch the podcast. So put it everywhere on our regular business site, everywhere. Sorry.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Cool.
so when I to make posts, I use Canva. I'm not the most I'm not very good at designing. Canva has a lot of templates and a lot of other tools that you can use. Canva is really good. They have a lot of apps on there that you can literally use inside of Canva to help you with designs and help you like if you do a static post with like and it's more of in the video format. They have music apps on there that you can literally just put music, non-copyrighted music, right on there.
Yep.
Canva is super good. They have many, many, many templates, especially when you upgrade it. But even on the free one, that's what we were using for a while. And the free one, I got so many templates out of that I can alter and create and change colors and
Yeah.
change backgrounds and pull things in. Like using Canva is huge.
Right. A quick side note for small business owners, if you want to do the paid version, right? This is what I did. I upgraded to the paid version. There's a lot more available. There's everything is available, but there's more. And the stuff that's available is like a bit more professional. There's for some people, or it's just more, it's just deeper and it's nicer for other people. And overall, there's a lot more professional options, whether you want colorful, playful,
Yeah.
or if you want like corporate, there's a lot more options. And there's like there's more, even more tools available to make it easier for you. I just want to throw that out. And it's not that I think it costs
Oh
like
yeah,
$50
100%.
a month or something like that. So we're not,
Yeah.
again, I just want to interject that real quick because I thought it'd be helpful.
Yeah, no, 100%. A lot of, especially when it comes to generating hashtags, we use AI a lot with like ChatGPT and generating hashtags and things to put in posts. Like, oh, what do you think is a good idea? We use AI for this stuff too, for our podcast stuff. It's a very good, useful tool to use always, not just for social media, but and that we'll dive in more in that with our AI episode. But for this instance, AI is beyond helpful.
And ChatGPT, not that they're the best one out there necessarily. I'm not going to get into all that. Genesis is really good too, is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's other ones that are amazing. But ChatGPT specifically, I know because I played around with it. They have a bunch of like apps inside that are wildly helpful, right? Like for helping you come up with the right titles for like video posting, YouTube especially, right? Like the right title to make
Yeah.
sure that it works with their algorithm the best, and then you're actually going to get seen, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
you just put in what you're doing, say tweak this like that. Like it's really easy.
Yeah, literally. And then also the Meta Business Suite, especially if you're getting more of Instagram and Facebook, that's beyond helpful. You can that's for static posts, I always use that. I just go on because it gives you the best, more accurate analytics because it's through Meta. So you go on there, you can plan out for a long time. I'm not sure how far you can plan it out because personally, I don't like making social media posts that far in advance because if there's a current event I need to make a post about, it's nice to be in touch with currency. But you might find it easier to make posts months in advance. There's a lot of fun little things that you can do in it. It gives you holidays, so that way you don't have to like even smaller holidays. That way, if you want to tie it into your business, I like doing that a lot with social media posts where I tie in the day's holidays and tie it into the business because I think that's just fun and it's something different than instead of just blasting them in the face with bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? With business, business, business. It ties in something else as well. But yeah, the Meta Business Suite I use a lot, especially a lot for the static posts.
Yeah.
And then I guess the last thing I use is called Metricool. I can't remember all off the top of my head, but yeah, they're nice because you can post everywhere at once. So like let's say you take a video, You could post it to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
And then
X, Threads, LinkedIn.
yeah,
You can just blast it all out there.
Metrical, that's the one. It's free for accounts.
Yes.
And if you want to do more than that, then you just pay like a monthly fee, and then you could do like more social. I forget the breakdown. Everyone has. I mean, go look at it, figure out what's best for you, right? But I think we use the free version right now. So
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
do.
it's easy to use. And make sure you put
Mhm.
links in like the bio and all that stuff. And
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll
You
put
know.
them in. I'll put them in the description of the podcast.
okay,
We'll make sure to put links for all this stuff in the description. That way, everyone can go
It's-
and try it out. I mean,
if nothing, I don't even care if they try it. I don't care if everyone wants to try this stuff. Cool, go ahead. I mean, I think if nothing else though, it'll give you a good starting point for like, okay, I see what they
Mhm.
mean. This is cool, but I think I would like something that's like this. I promise you, any version of what you see, if you want a different type of a version with a different setup, maybe you want a fancier setup. Maybe you want something more streamlined. Maybe you can find it, right? But
Yeah.
this is the most expansive free version to find that did what we wanted to do. So we found it, and we found that and said this works perfect, and it's free for up to 5 accounts. We stopped looking and just
Yeah.
integrated it, right? So, and
Mhm.
as long as you take that approach, you say, okay, this is cool. I don't like it, right? Awesome. We'll keep using it until you find something else, right? And then from that point moving forward, only use that, right? Even if you have
Mhm.
other posts lined up on this one, let them run out. Don't waste time doing the extra work of removing it here and then adding it here. It's the same thing you're putting up. You know what I mean? So just let it run
Yeah.
out and plan accordingly. Don't eat up and waste a bunch of time. This stuff is all quick and easy. It's not meant to be super time consuming, right? Like the average business owner can spend maybe 2 or 3 hours a week, maybe 4 hours a week if they're really engaging with people. And when I say engaging, again, it's not not going on their page and hitting a like or a comment and hitting a like. It's go to their comment, post a comment, right? Dancers. That's the cutest pose I've ever seen. Oh my god, those little munchkins, they're so cute. It's like little like 5-year-olds all like, how, right? Like stuff like that. It's meaningful. It is. And parents comment. Guess what? Every person that's related to anyone in any way, shape, or form, whether it's like a distant second, third cousin in another state, I want everybody to like it and comment on it, right? Because it's
Yeah,
all
100%.
exposure, but most importantly, it's all free. You put an ad out, cool, that's free exposure. But having the ad out is also going to help you with branding. People are going to see it. And then when they think, oh, I need this widget, or I want to do this thing, or that, let me go check this out. Your name is going to pop in their head, just like TV advertising, just like this. The branding and just mass posting, mass doing everything. Branding makes a ton of sense, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, and on socials for the newbie business people, when you follow people back, right? Only like don't follow. Depends on your business, but like are the dance studios we work with, we follow them, but we don't follow back all the dancers and the families that follow us, right? Because that will bog your feed down with stuff that has nothing to do with it, and it's going to frustrate your life. So that's just that's a pro tip. Help everyone out from day one.
100%. Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you guys for watching. Obviously, this one's a little bit longer, but I felt like we really were able to get everything we wanted to talk about in here.
Yeah.
Make sure to check out all of our social medias. Again, promoting social media, always do that. Make sure to check out our social media. And this podcast will be uploaded on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, and obviously YouTube. Make sure to go check out all of our everything. Links for everything that we ever talk about will always be in our link tree in our bio. And make sure to check out all the tools for social media. It'll be in the description down below. And thank you guys for watching.
Wait, real quick. Go on and check out our social medias. It's such a great idea. See how we're doing things and see how we mix it up. Look at all of our different social medias. Check everything out, and you can see how we mix it up a little bit. That's a really good idea. Not to get, check out our site. Okay, most people watching this aren't gonna be able to do business with us. So, but go check out our social medias for My Dance Locker, mydancelocker.com. Go on Instagram and everyone and check them out and see what it is, what it looks like. Call me out too. If you see something you're like, dude, this is trash, call us out. Like, don't say that on social.
Yeah.
Hit us up privately. DM us, right? Send me a text message or something. But really though,
100%.
I want feedback from everyone. If you're like, dude, that's cool, but it would be better if you did this, right? Or hey, I like that. How did you do this? We'll tell you. We'll definitely. Like I said, we love connecting with you guys. So, gotta go. I got an appointment coming up. Y'all have a good one.
See you guys later.
Thanks for hanging with us till the end.